What's going on, guys? Welcome. So it's been a little while since I made a video, but this is my other channel. Okay, so this is another shift I'll be making in video content to this channel. A lot of people don't really know about it. I released a video up, like saying what my new channel announcement was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in every single video so you guys can see that I have another channel, and this is where the more spicy stuff will be. So if you guys are interested in that, drop subscribe and like and blah, blah, blah. And it will be in the pinned comments down below. Okay. So that's where you guys can find that link and all my like book suggestions and stuff like that. Okay. See you guys there. What's going on, guys? It's been a little while since we covered some Coach Lee. This was actually a request. So I think he uploaded this like, a couple days ago or whatever. And I had one of my students who watches both of us. He's like, hey, can you cover this video? Because I know that you cover other videos of other coaches and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, you know what? It's been a little while. I haven't done it. I've been working on my business. My business has been crazy. By the way, if you guys don't really know what I do, I help people make money on the side. I don't really talk about it too much publicly. I kind of offer it to some of my students when they come in to my coaching program. So if anybody is interested, I have a couple of spots open that I will help build basically some websites to make money. Now, I understand that many of you guys hearing that are going to be like, how does that work? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the point is I will tell you how it works and how the sites will make money and how all the intricacies work. So all you have to do to get involved in that is email me, which will be in the description box down below, or it's masculineenergy27@gmail.com. But again, that will be in the description box down below. My Instagram's also there, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a couple of spots open. I've expanded my team because this is what I do. So I've already been doing this for years. So I was like, you know what? I can help other people do this. I can help other people increase their income. I'll open it up. So I expanded my team, and my team's like, hey, we can handle a little bit more. So here's the offer. Okay. It is a bit expensive. So just be aware of that. So, but again, we'll talk prices and we'll talk all that stuff in the email. We'll probably even jump on a phone call. Okay. So with that being said, let's get started in this and let's go. This is called How to Change My Ex's Mind About Me. So right off the hop, see, I get this. It's before I even start him. Every single time I do a coaching call or whatever, the main question guys want to ask me without wanting to say it directly, because they've been watching enough videos, they know, right? How do I get her to change her mind? How do I get her to, and it's always this, how can I change her feelings? How can I change her mind about me? How can I make her think differently? Right? So normally when somebody doesn't want to be with you anymore, they've lost attraction to you. Love follows attraction like a string. Okay. If attraction falls, love falls right with it. And guys, it's mostly men that follow me. You've heard your woman say, I can't live without you. I love you so much. They'll follow you around the fucking house all the time. When they're in love with you, they are literally borderline annoying. not gonna lie. But at the same time, that's what we want, right? We love that shit. So when somebody loses attraction for you, that you can actually start to see, and men, we don't notice the separation. We don't notice the distance right away. It takes us time. We're like, maybe she's going through something, but we notice after they've been thinking about it for like a month or two, right? Some of you guys might be perceptive, right? You might be more perceptive than me. It took me about a month or two to notice, shit, man, she hasn't been really receptive to me. She hasn't been kissing me as much. She hasn't been hugging me as much. She hasn't been giddy around me as much. You guys know what I'm talking about, that feminine energy, right? And it's just not there anymore. And then you'll start to go, hey, are you okay? And then that's when the whole conversation starts. Because when you notice, she's like, fuck, I've been feeling this way. I've been thinking this way. And I just wrote that in my book, by the way. So my book is about halfway finished. And it will be released soon, hopefully by this quarter. If not, it'll be early next year. But it's going to be two, maybe three books. As I've been writing it, it's been kind of weird. So the first book is mainly going to be about breakups, and that's it. The second book is going to be about like dating and self-growth. Okay. It's going to be very much to the point. No fluff, no bullshit, just boom, straight to the point. Very much like how Rich Cooper wrote Unplugged Alpha. I love the way that he wrote that book. It's no bullshit. It's just do this, do that, and it's short, right? That's how I want to do it. I don't want to have any fluff. I don't want to have any bullshit in my books. The first book will be purely about breakups, purely about what I've seen over the past 4 or 5 years. So that's going to be available. I'll make an announcement. I'll put it just like I put at the beginning of this video, my other channel link. I'll have, hey guys, here's the book, pick it up, check it out. And it'll be obviously available on Amazon. And I'm going to do an audio version of it, but the way that Audible is, it's weird and it can take some time. So there will be all of those available for you guys. And I'm going to do like probably total for this brand, probably like 7 or 8 books. So the first 3 are going to be, mainly about, intersexual dynamics, stuff like that. And of course I might have a book or some courses on the other channel, but I want to talk very much about women, female nature, stuff like that. So anyway, women lose attraction for you, right? And when that happens, you can't just forcefully change their mind. Okay. When you are trying to do that, you're already thinking the wrong way. Instead of, you're trying to control them without trying to control them. You're not really doing it right. And the point is, you have to pull back and refocus your energy on you. You have to, and you hear this in the fucking community all the time. Work on yourself, work on you, blah, blah, blah. It's true. You do. You have to. Because what got you to where you are and her losing attraction for you, right? You have to reevaluate where you are, what you're doing every day, what your actions are, before you can think that you're going to be able to even make it in this relationship that just ended or a new one. What made her lose attraction for you, right? So in my book, I talk about this, but complacency and insecurity are the 2 main reasons why attraction falls. And sometimes because of that, they don't see a future with you anymore. They're like, oh, this person got lazy. They don't work on themselves. We have a lot of conflict. So I always say too much negativity will cause, drive a wedge in the relationship. And the sub reasons are usually insecurity and complacency are those 2, right? Because look, as a man, you're supposed to lead the relationship where it's supposed to go. If you're arguing with your woman, you're not understanding her and what she's trying to communicate to you, okay? Because you have to understand what you're communicating with, right? Us men are usually more logical in the way we think, or more simple, right? One advice tip I give to a lot of women who become coaching clients of mine, when you're talking to a man, speak very direct. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want and why. When men go shopping and do things, if we don't go there spontaneously, usually we go there and we're like, I want just one thing and I know exactly where to go to get it, right? And we do that. Now, that's just me. Maybe some of you guys don't do that. Maybe you guys wander around too. But we're very direct in what we want to do, where we want to go, and we just want to get the fuck out of there, right? So it's understanding the energies. Now, I know we haven't fucking gone into the video yet, but I haven't made a video so long, so I'm kind of catching up with you guys. So that's the idea. Okay, so I just want to say that now and give my 2 cents before we even get into what he's saying, because I hear this all the time. How do I change your mind? And you have to refocus your energy on figuring out and fixing what got that attraction to fall and how you got there. All right. So let's do it.
This is Coach Lee, and these are some ways you can change your ex's mind. Right before I get to the first one on the list, I want to explain something quickly to you. Misunderstanding your ex in this situation could cost you getting back together with them. So listen carefully to what I have to say about this. First of all, there's a reason why your ex doesn't want to work on it right now. And that's because attraction has fallen and because they don't feel the same way and they don't put the same value on the relationship right now. The relationship between the 2 of you is not as valuable to them.
See, Coach Lee knows what he's talking about. See? So he just said it's not as valuable to them, right? It's not as valuable to her, because I know I'm just going to speak to the men, right? It's not as valuable to her right now because attraction has fallen. Why did that happen? That is the number one thing that you need to focus on, fellas.
As it is to you in this moment, or as it once was to them. That's why they don't want to try again. They don't want to work on it. And so trying to talk them into doing that is actually making things less likely that you will get them back, that you two will get back together, because it just highlights to them that they don't want this right now, that they don't feel the same anymore, and that you two are on opposite spectrums. And so it only contributes a negative to your effort. And I'm not saying there's not a time to work on it, that there's not a time to tell them how committed you are to the relationship, to fixing yourself, to bettering yourself, to actually being the partner that you should be and that they want you to be. There's a time for all of that, just not right now.
They have to be attracted to you enough in order to even think about going down that road. There was a crossroads, sort of like a boiling point that they reached when they started to think, man, this is just not happening for me anymore. And they might have felt guilty for it for a long time. I talk about this in my book as well, but there's this guilt because they know that they should tell you. They know that they should try to work on things. Maybe you're the perfect guy on paper. Maybe her family loves you, but she still feels the way that she feels about you, right? Maybe there's something going on in the relationship. It could be, a laundry list of things, or maybe it's one thing that is really irking this person and they can't get over it. It clashes with their morals, maybe, or maybe, you know what I mean? So they need to think that it's a good idea, to come back to you, to even begin to think. Because look, if you think about it from out, your perspective as a dumpy, you're like shocked that it happened, first of all, and you're thrown by the whole thing because you want to work on it. You think it's a good idea to work on it, but they've been thinking about it for months, weeks, or months, okay, breaking up with you. Because the first time they thought about it, it probably was just a fleeting thing. And then over time, as the negativity continued, right? I had a lot of coaching clients during COVID have this issue because a lot of guys during COVID got laid off and sat around the house and got fucking fat and did nothing, right? Now, again, I understand, fellas, fucking, it's tough out here for us. We got to make money. We got to provide. We got to do things, right? That's just how we're wired. So I get going into a depressive phase. You think your girl's going to be there for you, but you got to get back out there and you got to learn some new skills. That's why I talk about making money on my channel so much, because there is so much fucking money to be made online. It is ridiculous. And all of you guys are smart enough, because I am not that fucking smart. Okay. And I know if I can do this, you guys can do this. Okay. Even getting on camera like this it was uncomfortable at first. And most of you guys are unwilling to learn because you're choosing to be that way. And a lot of guys reach out to me and they've asked me, how do you make money? I know you talk about it. And I show them, I tell them, I said, hey, it's going to take a couple of years to even, really change your life. And they're like, right. I'm like, bro. So again, I don't judge anymore. I used to, I used to feel very judgmental, but that's their choice and that's their path. That's their free will. Right. So we go back to, and during my coaching, and this is what I do for the most part, is I talk about how to make yourself the most attractive guy possible. And when you have money, you have a different confidence to you, because first of all, money will buy your freedom. Okay. And the reason I'm going into this is because he's talking about attraction loss, right? So as a man, you want to appear and be the most attractive, not even just like you want to be doing it subconsciously because you're living your life. You're having a great time. Right. But when you lose somebody, you're very aware of what you're doing wrong. And you're like, fuck, I lost her because of this. And guys just beat themselves up all day long about what the fuck they did wrong. I said, relax, dude. You didn't know. And now you know. So 90% of healing and fixing your life is awareness. And then once you're aware, now you have to make a choice. I'm going to choose to get smarter, get better, get fitter, get richer. Okay. And I'm telling you, I've said this time and time again, there is literally so much cash to be made online. You just have to learn a specific skill and stick to it for a couple of years. All that other make $10,000 a month in 4 months drop shipping shit is bullshit. You can do that when you have money. 100% you can. But when you are, making money from fucking, and here's the thing, what I teach, you start with no money. You start with domain. Okay. And it takes a couple of years and it is slow, right? And these guys are trying to teach you how to make 10K in fucking 4 months and it's bullshit. Don't spend any money. And yeah, you're going to spend money. Like there's no way. Okay. I don't think I know a single person who started from scratch that didn't know anything about making money online and actually did that. So talking about making yourself more attractive, buying your freedom. So when you buy your freedom as a man, you can now learn and start applying yourself to the the purposes of your life, what you want to do with your life, right? If you spend 8 to 9 hours at work, you're spending the most energy you have, which is in the fucking morning. Okay. Anybody who sleeps well, but you maybe take an hour or so to wake up, an hour and a half to wake up to really, get the juices flowing, maybe get a coffee in you. But then you spend the best hours of your day greasing somebody else's pockets. Okay. And there is zero, like when you come home, you're operating at what, 40%. Then you got kids, right? So I teach people how to do that themselves first, then build a team so that they can do it for you. And that's the whole point. And there is so much to be made. And anyway, that'll make you a more attractive guy because you'll be free. B, you'll be confident because you're going to have way less pressure about bills and stupid shit. And you'll be focused. You'll be focused on your purpose. Right now, my purpose is to build my media company as big as I can. It sounds general, right? I can pick a number, but I have a number in my head, but I'm just going to tell you that that's what I wake up and do. Okay. Now, right now I'm writing my book, so it's taking away from my purpose, but I operate at such a level that even if someone were to try to match me in terms of how much productivity I have and how far that productivity goes, I'd kill them. So 2022 has been an absolute monster for productivity. And that's another thing. We talk about, like cultivating your masculine energy so much. I know I'm fucking babbling, but guys, this is important, okay? Because what I do, I talk to guys all the time and they're so defeated. And the only thing they have that in this fucking life is their girlfriend or their wife. And they're like, I'm trying to get her back. It's like, bro, you haven't. Anyway. So attraction it has to be a good idea from her in order to come back to you. She has to think that it's a good idea to do so. She has to believe, oh shit, I'm losing out on this guy. Because when she thinks back, okay, we had some great memories and whatever, that will make her, she'll be like, oh, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I wonder what he's up to. And if you're not so thirsty trying to get her back, she's also going to think, man, why? I know he loved me. I know he wanted to stay together. Maybe he was even begging and pleading at some point. And now he doesn't care. He's not trying to be, So that is why taking your energy back, working on what you can control. I just did a coaching call 2 or 3 days ago with a guy and he's got a business. And I said to him, bro, like, grow your business, get to the next level, work on your body. Because they don't, again, this is what I mean. Complacency. Okay. His issue was he got complacent in the relationship and he stopped trying. He stopped trying to be the best man that he can be. I won't say specifics because I don't want him to watch this and think I'm airing out his dirty laundry. Right. But there were certain things that he could have been doing in the relationship more on a more regular basis, and he wasn't doing it. Okay. And this is what happens when guys get too cocky, right? You have to be fucking pushing. Okay. And trying to get to the next level, setting goals. And you've been told that, relax, be comfortable. Right? No. Anyway, let's fucking go.
Because you have to change their mind first. So let's get to that list of how you change your ex's mind about you. The first thing is that you save attraction. And how you do that is you don't do the things that you do in desperation that lower attraction and make you look bad, like begging, pleading, not taking no for an answer, going to their place, contacting them even when they have told you they don't want the relationship, and those kinds of things. If you can put yourself in the place of your ex, imagine being that person who is being sought after by someone you don't want to be with. We have all been there. And while it's flattering, it's validating, and it can really boost an ego, you don't become more attracted to that person just because they want to be with you, just because they beg you, just because they show up unannounced, uninvited, and want to take you somewhere. If it's mutual, then that can be something that can move the relationship forward if it's what you want as well. But if it's not what you want, it only makes them look worse. And you have probably felt that way. If you think back, if you're honest with yourself, you will remember thinking of them more with pity, which pity will not bring about attraction.
Bro, I'm going to give him a better still. Hold on.
It's very important.
So during my first breakup, I was a clown, showing up unannounced to her place, talking to her parents. It was a fucking nightmare. This was back when I was like 16, 17 years old. Didn't know anything, didn't know any better. My dad gave me advice, relax, back off, but it hurt so bad. Here's the thing about me too, guys, I was a stubborn little piece of shit growing up, okay? I thought I knew it all. You know, I always had that confidence, and that's what confident people sort of need to, that's why we have to go through life fucking up and failing forward, because, you know, we have to see it ourselves. And then you eventually become proactive in nature instead of retroactive, which means you don't need to learn from fucking up. You can learn from other people's mistakes, right? So as a coach, imagine if I fucked up attraction skills, knowing that I'm helping guys doing it so I can learn. See, I'm learning as a teacher too, right? And I already know this information, so it's not, you know, but that's just a bad example. But you know what you guys know what I mean. So I did that. I showed up unannounced. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. It makes you look stupid, makes you look like you can't control your emotions. It just makes you look dumb. Let's go back 5 seconds.
Thinking of them more with pity, which pity will not bring about attraction. That's very important to know, because it's tempting to try to do things to make your ex feel sorry for you, to show them how much you're hurting. And while those things are real, they're genuine, and I'm not telling you to be fake or unauthentic. What I'm telling you to do is to project strength. And that is, sometimes in life, you have to go against your feelings. You don't want to get up today. You got to get up.
That's how it was me today. Bye. That was me today.
You don't want to eat healthy foods. You'd rather eat junk food, but you have a goal. You want to lose weight, or you want to maintain a good weight. And so you go against your feelings. We go against our feelings all the time. It doesn't make us unauthentic or dishonest or players. It makes us people who go against desires within us when they conflict with our goal. So if your goal is to get your ex back, then while it may be tempting to beg, to plead, to show up, to buy them things, to contact them to see if their feelings have changed, what you're doing is you're biting on a temptation that you could get it all back at once. In many ways, it's being impatient.
Have you guys noticed now at this point that feelings and emotions are most of the time not right? Just like all the shit that he just said, right? Don't eat, junk food, tempting to contact your ex, blah, 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 all that shit, right? A lot of the time, what you think you want, you don't really want, right? So contacting your ex, every single time I ever did it and they didn't want to be with me, I always did it. And I was like, hey, I want to work on things. And they're like, fuck off. Basically, they didn't say this to me, but they said basically fuck off, right? And they wanted to live their life. They wanted to be free. They wanted their independence back, right? Blah, 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 blah. So you guys notice that, and that's why I just want to point this out, that when you feel something, just because you feel that way right now, and it's very powerful, it is powerful, because you're like, fuck, I just want to reach out. Oh my God, I'm having such a down moment, right? I get that all the time from my students. And I say, dude, think about your goal. So the second that you feel that way, right? I tell all my guys to buy a notebook, okay? And have your goals written down. So what you want to do that specific day. So people who talk to me about making money, I'm like, okay, do this today, read some of this today. And this is your long-term goal. So write down your long-term goals, because it is important for men, for us men especially, to stay on top of our fucking goals, because it is masculine energy, direction, goal setting, achievement, success, getting shit done. That is part of, we're dominated by masculine energy, right? Women have this in them too, to a degree, just less of it. Men have feminine energy too, just less of it. So our main dominant energy is masculine energy. So when you get reminded of your goals, you should be in the fucking gym every day. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody says about overtraining. When you're going through some emotional shit in life, get in the fucking gym daily. I don't care. You're going to be, it's not even about the actual workouts. It's about the habit building, A, B, building up and cultivating your dominant energy. Being a man and taking control of your fucking life is all about staying in your frame, okay? So as a man, when you lost your girl, you lost your frame most likely. So we need to get back into that energy. It's about energy, really. I bring up that chart all the fucking time, right? But it's about energy, and it's about understanding. You guys can actually see it right here. You guys can see the colors. I know it's faint and blurred, but you guys can see the colors, right? And this is a whole thing about energy. Okay. So when you're acting too feminine, right, you have to think, okay, have I been working on my goals? What have I even achieved? So this is what he's talking about. I just went in a little bit more detail.
And that's understandable. I'm not criticizing you. But what I'm telling you is, if you want your ex back, that you will have to stand up to yourself and whip yourself into shape in many ways in order to have that opportunity. When you do that, you save the attraction that you do have, because it can get lower if you continually beg and plead and don't take no for an answer, which is actually not attractive. When someone tells you no and you argue with them, that's not attractive. And that's partially because you allow them to reject you again and again in an ongoing fashion. And whenever someone rejects another person, they're lowering them on the attraction scale. They even think of them as lower on that scale. That doesn't mean that whenever you are rejected by someone, that has actually made the situation worse. It's when you won't accept it that it becomes worse. That doesn't mean that you don't interact with them if they are participating. It doesn't mean that you aren't flirty and confident and that you don't do things that allow the two of you to possibly develop something. That's not what I'm saying. But if you have ever been there, either yourself or another person, and you've seen when someone won't take no for an answer, what does it cause in the person who's saying no? It causes frustration. It causes annoyance to where they don't want to be around you. Oh no, here she comes again. Oh no, here he comes again. And the reason for that is because without consciously thinking about it, we know that attractive people have options. And if you act as though this person is your only option, once they have told you no, that you just can't fathom going forward with that answer being what you were given, it raises them up and it lowers you. So it's really that simple. And so how you can save attraction is to give them the breakup. You're not going to fight it after the breakup discussion. Now, in the breakup discussion, sure, you can tell them, I don't agree with this. We can work on this. I can change. You can change. We can get back to when things were good. I want this and I want you to reconsider. That's fine. You should do that. It's after that, when they have had those few days, when they have reflected on it and they are still wanting the breakup. And that doesn't mean that you call and say, hey, do you still want the breakup? If they don't, they will tell you. People who give the other person the breakup they want are attractive enough that they feel they can do so. And so that's first on the list of how you can change your ex's mind about you. If you're liking this video so far, please click the like button below and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I have other videos like this. Number 2 in the list of how you change your ex's mind about you is that you defy expectations. Now, most of us have been in other relationships. If it's your first relationship, I'm not specifically talking to you in this moment, but most of us have been in other relationships, or we've even seen people in relationships who break up. People break up and get back together every day. And so it's part of life. And one of the things that you have probably noticed is that many of the times that people are broken up with, the relationships dissolve, there's one person fighting, begging, calling, pleading, sending gifts, talking to friends, doing all these things, trying to get the other person back. And so in many ways, that is expected. So what if you defy the expectations? What if your ex is thinking you will reach out? And that's a question I'm curious what your answer would be, and you can leave it in the comments below. But do you think your ex expects you to reach out to them? Think about it for a minute and tell me below in the comments if you think your ex thinks that you will reach out to them. Because if they do think that, if they anticipate and they think, yeah, they're probably going to do that, think about that with me for a minute. In some ways, is that not a demonstration of how they think that they are above you on the attraction totem pole? That you will try to fix what they broke, that even though they turned you away, they told you they don't want to be with you, that you will still fight for them, and that they have that assurance that even if they're making the wrong decision, that you will bail them out if that's the case. Do you think that's attractive? I can tell you from 20 years in the relationship coaching service that it's not, and that it lowers your chances. And what I mean by that is, if you meet their expectations, like, yeah, I thought he was going to reach out, I knew he couldn't stay away, I knew she couldn't stay away, then what you were doing is you were actually following the path that they assumed. And that path is, well, you're not as attractive as they are. That's why they broke up with you, right?
So do the unexpected thing and give them the breakup. Stop trying so fucking hard to get somebody back that doesn't really want you. That's how I've always looked at it. From as soon as I started coaching people, I was like, look, guys, you just need to understand what's really going on here, because guys are so willing to live in fantasy land. I was talking to another one of my students yesterday who was having a bit of a down moment, and I said, look, man, I had to give it to him harsh. I had to say, look, bro, you can either ignore reality, right? And what Corey Wayne would say is you can ignore reality, or you can ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So, and basically that's what I said to him, just not verbatim. And I said, look, if you can live in fantasy land, or you can ignore reality. And you can live in fantasy land, or you could accept reality. That's what I mean. And I said, because look, you're in a situation where you can't get everything back the way you want it to be. Let's focus on what you can control. Let's focus on you. Let's focus on growth. Let's focus on how to be the best version of yourself. And let's just break everything down and rebuild. And he was like, okay, I understand. So I was like, then I said, write down your goals, because you're going to have a down moment and you're going to feel like shit. And we go back to the whole thing I said just a minute ago about emotions, right? Because when you feel that emotion pop up, what you want to do is you want to satisfy that emotion. And you think reaching out is going to do that, when we know now by what we just watched, it's bullshit.
Right? Because there's someone else out there they are more attracted to. Even if they haven't met them yet, they just assume. But when you defy their expectations, it's like a computer bug in their brain. It throws off the equation. It throws off their algorithm that you would be reaching out because you're lower on the attraction scale. And so you would be the one to try to get them back because you want that so badly, even though they don't, because they are more attractive. Now, they don't think those exact words, but that's what they feel. It's more instinctive rather than laid out in their mind. But when you don't reach out, when you defy expectations, it can be a little bit unnerving to them because they assume things. That's why they don't want the relationship anymore. They assume that the future will have more of the same. They assume that their feelings won't come back. They assume that you are lower on the attraction scale than they are. And so when you do things that suggest otherwise, it calls everything into question. And a lot of the time, it slows them down. And so that's where people who sometimes in the comments will say, no, I'm not going to do no contact because if you really want something, you have to go for it. I agree. If you really want something, you have to go for it. But there's a right way and there's a wrong way. To use a sports analogy, because I'm a guy, if you are a linebacker, and that's the guy who's trying to go after the quarterback or the running back, he's in the middle of the field, close to the line usually, if we're talking about an inside linebacker, and he's trying to get to the quarterback. The quarterback, in case you don't know, he's the guy who throws the football. So the linebacker wants to tackle the quarterback. Well, then why doesn't he? Why doesn't he just go do it? I mean, if he really wants it, he should go for it, right? There's a time and a place. Because if he does it before the ball is snapped to the quarterback,
that's a penalty.
Before the play actually starts, then it's a penalty. And he can't get to the quarterback. And it will only hurt his efforts. He has to know when. He has to know the rules of the game. It's not all about effort. It's not all about you trying really hard. It's about knowing some things and being disciplined enough to stick to what you know and what you've learned. And so what I'm telling you is that defying expectations and saving attraction, that those are important actions. Those are things you are doing.
So what I tell my students is almost the same thing, just in a different way. I say, look, you guys have to understand women, understand female nature, understand why, again, effort, like he's saying, is not going to you can't just force the nail through the wall, so to speak. You have to know, okay, when is the right time to reattract? How is that going to work? So usually, for example, there's a bit of a window, right? Some windows are open for a while. Some are very, narrow, but there's a window and you need to know how to react when that window is open. A lot of guys fuck up the reattraction process because they think that when that window is open, it's time to pounce, and it's not true. A lot of guys are like, let's just pick up where we left off, right? And that's not how you want to think. A lot of guys think that way, and they think that that's going to work that way, but it does not work that way. When you pick up where you left off, you're not listening to what that person across from you is saying, again, with their actions. They don't want to be with you, so if you pick up where you left off, did you learn anything? The thing I say to most guys after, when they're having some up and down moments, to say, okay, look, let's say she came back tomorrow. How different are you really? What new habits have you really formed? And they're like, well, I know better now. I'm like, okay, you'd be cool for probably a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, because you know that she wanted to leave, but you haven't created that new. So basically, when you go through a breakup and you reform and rebuild yourself, which takes a long time, it can take several months, which a lot of the times when people come back, it's a while after, right? It can take a while for that new behavior. You're literally becoming a different version of yourself. Okay. So guys, like it takes time, and you guys have to understand that they know that it takes time. That's why this all works this way. The game is the game. So I tell my guys, read some material, understand how you got here. Some guys are complacent. Some guys are insecure. Some guys are too nice. Some guys are, and you have to learn what you're doing. So, a long time ago, I did a coaching call, and his issue was he was too nice. He didn't know how to set boundaries. He didn't know that setting boundaries was an important thing to do. Every single time he went out and did something and he was a little late for it, or it didn't go how it was supposed to go, she would ring him out, and he'd just take the punishment. I actually have that in my book. So guys, you have to learn, and that's what my job is too, is to, again, what did I say earlier? 90% of awareness 90% of healing and change is awareness. My job is to make you aware. And then I point you where you need to go to become more aware, stronger, better, smarter, right? And then when you become more aware, that's when you can go, oh shit, okay, this is what I need to do. Because when you're aware and informed, you can make a better, more informed decision, right? Let's keep going.
And you're doing it because you understand timing. And you understand that right now, the mind of your ex is not interested in working to save the relationship or in being talked into getting back with you. That has to come from within them, and it has to come from attraction being revived. And how do you revive attraction? One way is to defy their expectations. Before I get to number 3 on the list, get more information on my emergency breakup kit. It's a powerful guide to getting your ex back. You can go to the link in the description below, or it's at myexbackcoach.com/EBK, as in emergency breakup kit. Number 3 on the list is don't talk about the breakup. Don't talk about it. Don't post on social media how sad you are. Don't post on social media that sometimes people really let you down and loyalty is a small commodity in the world. Don't talk to their friends. Don't talk to their parents. And don't advertise that you're having a hard time. Again, as I mentioned before, it's easy and it's tempting to think that making them feel sorry for you will get them back, but it actually won't. And I'm going to tell you real quickly why that's the case. And if you think about it, I think you'll agree. Let's just say there's someone who you are not attracted to. You're in a restaurant, a bar, you're at a park, and this person who visually you're not attracted to, their breath is bad, and something about them just turns you off. There's nothing about them that makes you feel attracted to them. What if they started telling you how difficult their life was? You will probably feel sorry for them. And if you're a good person, you may even think, maybe I could help. Maybe I could introduce them to someone who could maybe get them a job. Maybe I could help out in this way. Maybe I could point them in the right direction. And those kinds of things that good people do. But you don't feel more attracted to them. Feeling sorry for them does not turn you on. That's very important to know. Keep that lesson. Because the temptation will be, you will think, I know this person still cares about me, so if they feel sorry for me, maybe they'll want to get back together with me. They will feel sorry for you. They probably already do in some ways. But that's not the same as attraction. They can hurt for you and want you to feel better. It doesn't mean they want to get back together with you. In fact, it will actually cause the opposite because we are attracted to people who we feel respect for, who we admire, and who we feel incredible connection with.
Facts. Respect comes before love every time. Okay, so as you guys are learning about each other in a not in a relationship, but you're dating, blah blah blah, they will have some sort of respect for you just automatically in a way, right? Like they get to know you, right? So it takes a woman a little longer to fall in love than men, and a woman needs to feel safe around you. So every single time you guys go on a date, she feels safe around you. You take her home, you walk her home. If you don't drive, you drive her home. Blah, 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 and she feels safe. So she gains respect for you because you're respecting her. It's mutual. Now, usually when a breakup happens, they lose respect for you somewhere in the relationship. It could be, again, complacency. It could be insecurity. It could be whatever. And sometimes, there are fucked up women out there, right? And sometimes those kinds of women will make you feel shitty because they are doing some shitty things, and it will come off of insecure because you're challenging her about hanging out with some fucking guys. Well, look, fellas, if you're in a serious relationship and your girl is hanging out with guys one-on-one, that's not your girl. Okay? So, but you have to understand, did you choose the wrong woman, right? And choosing the wrong woman happens.
And if those things are no longer there, feeling sorry for them is a separate factor in all of this mix. I'm sure it's true that you hurt, but I'm telling you, don't tell their friends that, don't tell your friends that, and don't advertise it on social media, because while it may make them feel sorry for you, it will not make them feel more attracted to you or attracted to you enough again to want to work in a relationship. Where you're going to have some success with that is going to be where you stay away, where you're mysterious, where you defy expectations, and where you save attraction. Number 4 on the list is really important, and right before I mention that, if you are liking this video, please click that like button below and feel free to ask a question in the comments. I can get to some of those, and I have a great community here who has seen lots of my videos and can help you if you have questions about certain topics. So number 4, it's really important. Keep those inside jokes and inside stories. And what I mean is that you will probably get to interact with your ex again. That's not true for every situation, so please don't comment saying, that's not true, I never did, or I never will. I'm talking about most of the time, people will see their ex.
You can tell that Coach Lee and myself, because I know exactly what he's talking about, get the same fucking comments from the same people. They're like, oh, here's what's funny is people that this didn't work for will just come onto these videos and be like, this didn't work, right? And you can tell that he gets that. I know that a couple other coaches get that. And I think it goes without saying that this information is not always 100% going to work for everybody's situation. Like there are people who are going through a breakup right now that deserve to be broken up with, right? Oh, I cheated on my girl and no contact didn't work. It's like, well, no shit.
Somewhere. It's out in their town, it's at work, it's at the gym, or it's just in passing somewhere. But the opportunity will likely be there. And if you have followed these other steps, if you haven't begged, you haven't reached out, you haven't annoyed them, you haven't decided to go against what they want, then it won't be so awkward. It will be a little bit, but they won't feel like, oh no, if I talk to them, they're going to start begging again, they're going to start pleading, they're going to pursue and annoy me. If those things haven't happened, they won't think that way. And so they will talk to you. And if you can fall back on some of those inside jokes, and they're easy to bring up when you know the right things to say to kind of guide that person in that direction.
And know when to say it.
You can just make one subtle little joke about an inside joke you two had. Try not to overdo it. Try not to do it over and over about the same joke, but casually mentioning it or casually referencing, especially if they say something that alludes to it, some inside story you have together, just for a second, just a few words about it, just to where they know what you're talking about. If you can do that, that is an incredible gateway to unlocking intimacy again, to going back in time in lots of ways, to reignite some of the intimacy they feel with you. Because intimacy is when we have shared experiences together, when we don't keep secrets from each other, when we know about each other's day, about the facts and the feelings of our lives. That's how we build intimacy. And so reigniting some of those things can cause them to feel a lot more of that intimacy that maybe has been lost during this time. And it's a great way to leave them with something so that when you two part ways, they walk away thinking, I have missed her so much. I've missed him so much. And I didn't even know it until now. And it's because they get a taste of that intimacy that they haven't had. So it's a big deal. Remember those things. Even write them down. This may be a good time to do it because if you're hurting and you're struggling with the breakup right now, it's fresh on your mind. Write it down, get it out of your system. Write some inside jokes and inside stories on paper just to have them. Because in the future, as we go on here, it's not going to be something that I think you should be ruminating about and just spinning in your mind about. But go ahead and get some of those down just so that you can have them fresh in case you need them. And just because writing things down can often really clarify and solidify them in your mind, and they'll be easy to bring up when you see your ex. And I want to mention again, for your own benefit, that being subtle about this and not overdoing it is key. A casual mention and move on with the conversation, or even say, it's been great seeing you, I need to get going. But don't overdo it. Right after point number 5 that I'm about to mention here, I'm going to have on the end screen a link to an important video about psychology and reattraction. And it's basically the continuation of this video because I'm going to get into some deeper things. So I highly recommend that after this video, that you watch the video that will be in the end screen, and it's called The Psychology of Reattraction. And now for number 5. It's going to sound a little basic, but let me explain it. It's improving yourself, and here's why. It's different than you think. You improve yourself in the ways you know you need to improve. That can be physically, emotionally, intellectually. You work on yourself. You should always be doing that. The reason you do that is because if you do these other things, and you do have that opportunity to meet with your ex, you want them to think, I was wrong about them, or they have changed. People ask me all the time, how can I show them I've changed? Well, the first step is to change.
I get that all the fucking time. How do I show them? How do I show them? Just do it. Do it for you.
And usually, if it's 48 hours or 2 weeks later, you haven't had time to change. And I've had people say, it's been 3 days since the breakup. Should I call them and tell them I've changed? It's not believable after 3 days. That's another reason that actually having a good long no contact period, 60 days or more, is actually really helpful because they believe it when they.
Now, let me just speak for him for a second here because there's going to be some Yahoo in the comments. Yes, we know that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. I'm going to defend him because I think I know what he's trying to say. Because it's just, these videos, you have to explain yourself so often when you say something, right? Because some fucking Yahoo in the comments is like, Durr, right? So, look, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. It's not that you do it for those specific times. He is saying during that time, it is a great time to actually put some work in on yourself. Okay. So, I usually tell my guys, look, there is no contact period. Sorry, there isn't a no contact period. There is, you have to focus on more like staying in the present moment about your growth and about your goals. Remember the whole masculine energy thing, focusing on your fucking masculinity and your frame and sticking to your goals and what you want to do. There is no time frame for that. That's just who you have to become. Right. But some people are like, oh, how long does it take? How long am I looking at? What's going to happen? So I say, look, a lot of the times, you can expect to hear things between here and here. But that's just my observation. I'm not going to say that here publicly. Right. Because people will just fucking jump on that shit. So that's what he's trying to say.
I see that you have changed and that you're different, because they think in 60 days, that's 2 months, people can change. But 2 days or 2 weeks, it seems fake. It seems like you're just doing it to try to get them back or to do what they want, and that it may not be real.
And dumpers have certain confidence. And he calls it dumpers arrogance. I call it dumpers confidence. They basically know that you still love them, still want them. So they just kind of, they have an arrogance about it. They're like, oh yeah, you know what, whatever. And they'll assume that any kind of actions you're taking is to get them back.
So you work on yourself and you really change. You lose that weight. You become more emotionally strong. You don't be clingy and beggy. You learn about relationships and that it's about give and take, and it's not always about what you want. Most of the people that I've talked to know the ways they need to improve. And so if you can really do that, then when you do get an opportunity to meet your ex, they can see it and it will be more believable. And so the struggle, the frustration with how can I show them I've changed? Usually you're asking that when it's too soon for it to be believable. So allowing enough time to pass and actually making the changes. And some of these things take many days or even months to actually accomplish. So keep that in mind. And that way you're better no matter what happens. You're better for yourself and a future partner if that's the case, but you're also going to give yourself the best chance to show your ex that you've changed and for them to believe it. I'm going to dive further into the psychology of reattraction.
So, look up that video if you guys want to see just him. I'll probably cover it if I haven't already. But anyway, guys, that you guys have to understand that there's just a certain kind of work you have to do post breakup. So get to work. If you want to coach, talk to him, talk to me, whoever the fuck you want to talk to, make it happen. Push yourself. A lot of people don't understand like making an investment into yourself. It's doing a coaching call with me is $200. I teach you how to make some money. I show you some things, and and there is this, okay, just to be clear, for me, there's a monthly subscription because there's so many people that are like, I really want to learn how to make money. And then you start teaching them and they're like, oh, too hard. So I have a monthly subscription for that. But it's again, I will tell you what to do so that you can do it on your own. But if you want me to guide you, it's a subscription. But anyway, make the investment. Learn how to make some cash, improve your body weight, your style, how you look, how you feel. You're going to start feeling better. You start looking better. You're going to start having more energy, and actually become who you've always wanted to be. And it's going to sound a little corny, but that's the fucking truth. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked it. Check out the other channel that you guys should have seen in the very beginning, and the book will be out soon. I'll talk to you guys soon.